Hang on a minute. Is that... Oh, for God's sake, it's upside down, isn't it? Oh, right. That looks better, doesn't it? So, the point of this build is that it was supposed to be really boring. Computer surgeon, why are you building a boring computer? Because I had a customer that wanted a boring computer for a very boring reason. That reason is running an emulator for something called Mimu farms. Now that sounded really creepy to me, so I looked it up and apparently it is legit. I don't really know what it is. All I know is it needs a lot of cores and doesn't need the cores to be really fast. It's basically running a load of VMs or servers or something. So you just need lots of RAM, you just need lots of cores. That's why I went with Ryzen 9 5950X. Now this was actually surprisingly cheap for something that's got so many cores. I know that it is last gen. I know, it's not going to be the fastest, but it doesn't need to be the fastest. It just needs to have loads of cores, and that's exactly what this little beauty has got. You're going to need something to cool that kind of processing power. And because it's an emulator, because it's like a server type thing, I really wanted to avoid liquid, because liquid pumps, if they fail, they're just going to tank the whole system. It's going to break and it's going to need repair, right? But if you go with something like Peerless Assassin or Assassin Spirit or whatever, dual tower cooler essentially, that's going to be plenty to keep this CPU fine. I mean, you're not going to be running it full tilt all the time. Even if you are, you can put it into eco mode and get most of the performance that you need anyway. So an air cooler is definitely the way to go for these kind of longer service life systems. And I'm one of those like rare people that doesn't really like Noctua. I think it's way overpriced. I think the products are absolutely fantastic, but I think you're paying way too much for what they are. It's just a big lump of metal at the end of the day. There's a little bit of engineering that can improve the temperatures, but this Peerless Assassin is like a quarter of the price of an NHD 15, and it's not 4 times as bad, if you know what I mean. So perfect cooler for the job. Now apparently these emulation things, they need a lot of RAM. So I wanted to sort of maximize a good amount of RAM. Went for 64 gigabytes in total. So I went with this stuff. It's called Netac Basic, right? But it is DDR4 3200. The only problem is it doesn't have any heat spreaders on it, which is good. It makes it low profile, which is pretty nice, but it is going to need good airflow over the sticks so they don't overheat. That should be fine in this case, which we'll get onto in a bit. Overall, 64 gigabytes of this stuff. That should be plenty for a Mimu farm. Oh God, I can't believe I'm even saying those words, but yeah. There we go. Motherboard. Now we needed a micro ATX motherboard, and I found this B550M Gaming X by Gigabyte. The price was insane. It was like 80 quid. I'm pretty sure it was a pricing error on Amazon because it's more expensive everywhere else. And that does happen from time to time, but I took full advantage. This has got enough power delivery to do a 5950X, particularly if you're going to turn down the power usage by going into eco mode if needed. I'm not really worried about having the fanciest motherboard for this 5950X. This is going to do the job. It's not bargain basement, but it's not super high end. It's going to be absolutely fine. So next up is the graphics card. I did a bit of research into this Mimu emulator thing. Can't believe I keep saying that. And there didn't seem to be any difference between NVIDIA and Radeon. So the NVIDIAs are better for emulation servers if they use the OpenGL API, but this one seemed to not use that. I think it might have been using DirectX or something else, but something that didn't really make a difference whether it was Radeon or not. So I wanted something with a load of VRAM, so I went for the Radeon 9060 XT 16 gigabytes. It's probably the best way to get in at 16 gigabytes. That's going to be plenty to run this emulation farm. This system's going to be pretty good at gaming as well, actually, if you think about it. You've got, you know, modern-ish CPU, you've got a pretty nice modern GPU. 1440p gaming on this could be a secondary use if desired. Now, of course, we need some storage. I've got like a little crib sheet of like SSDs that I know are good, that have DRAM and that are pretty fast. So went for this Silicon Power 1TB XS70, but I don't really care what brand, as long as it's got DRAM and the speed is half decent. And then for a power supply, we don't need a huge amount of watts, but we do want something that's got some good quality, because this is going to be running like 24 hours a day. So I think 80 plus gold is going to be the minimum to keep those power bills down. So that's why I went with the MWE Gold 650 watt by Cooler Master. It was the cheapest gold 650 watt power supply from a half decent manufacturer. That's why I went for it. I am not brand loyal at all. I do not care. And to encase it all, the most boring part of this whole build is the Cooler Master Elite 301 Lite case. Terrible name for a case because it has Lite in it twice, one time with E in front of it, but it's fine. So it's actually a fairly tidy looking case, nothing wrong. This is kind of like a black box with decent airflow on the front, micro ATX size, it's got reasonable component clearance, it's going to fit everything we need. This is definitely going to do the job, but as you'll see, or probably have already seen in the build montage and the final product. So if I've done my job properly, you guys are super bored. Boring build, boring, 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 boring. Okay, I actually quite like this computer, right? I've done a lot of RGB builds, I've done a lot of very sleek and very aesthetic builds, but there's something kind of like military and just straightforward, getting the job done that I quite like about this build. Like, it's kind of easy on the eye in the way that it's not super beautiful and it's not catching your eye all the time, and that kind of makes it a bit softer on the eyes. I don't know if you really know what I mean there. How about we talk about the performance? So you probably think that a 16-core CPU, oh guys, you need like a 360mm liquid cooler and everything like that. Absolutely not, guys. This Thermalright dual tower cooler, the Peerless Assassin, it's amazing, guys. The temperatures were just as good as any liquid cooler I've used on this CPU in the past. And during gaming, you know, CPU temperatures are around 70. Even when we put it under max load, the maximum CPU temperature I saw was around 85 degrees C. I think that's fantastic. I think you really don't need a liquid cooler nowadays unless you're on one of those X3D chips or if you're on a K chip by Intel. The only thing that's a slight letdown is that with this motherboard, it has that PCIe long slot one down from the tops that it could be, if that makes sense. So on micro ATX boards, you're much better off buying the ones that have the PCIe long slot as high as possible on the motherboard, because that gives more breathing room for the graphics card. And if you're using a small case like this, it does actually make a bit of difference in how much airflow you can get to the graphics card. So that's one thing to consider. And you might be wondering about the actual performance. And you can see in games, you know, got the Fortnite FPS doing really well, sort of around the 240 mark. You could play Warzone on this if you wanted to, play Apex Legends, you could play Cyberpunk, all at decent settings. Obviously, if you want bleeding edge performance in things like Warzone and CPU heavy tasks, you're going to want to invest in a newer CPU on a new platform with better RAM. We had to run this RAM at the base speed rather than at XMP. I think because we had 4 sticks in this sort of lower mid-range motherboard, it wasn't able to sustain the XMP 3200 speed under load, and it would give me blue screens and all kinds of problems. That's because it's Netac basic RAM. But I knew that was a possibility coming into this build because I'm doing this as sort of a server emulation build. So it's much more important that you have something stable and you have enough RAM. And saving that money is probably worth it rather than trying to run it at a technically overclocked level. I think for a server build, this is much more secure. And when it comes to the Cooler Master Elite 301 Lite case, again, terrible name, amazing. This case cost me about £32 at distributor level. It's probably going to be about £40, £45 at consumer level. It came with one fan in the back. I added a couple that I had just laying around for free for the customer, but it fits everything that I need. You know, you could get really long high-end graphics cards in here, no problem. You could put a liquid cooler in the top. There's bags of room for that if that's what you wanted to do. You could fit loads in here. You've got a really beefy tower cooler. That's fitting in here as well. You could really fit any kind of system in here, even super high-end stuff, unless you're going for a 360mm radiator, in which you might find that a little bit difficult. But for any kind of budget, mid-range and sort of upper mid-range stuff, absolutely no problem getting it in this case. The only problem is it is just kind of unexciting and unremarkable to look at, but you kind of know that when you look at the picture. And I think the best thing about this build is that I never have to say the phrase "me farm" ever again in my life. I am absolutely stoked. Okay, let me know if I've made any mistakes or anything you would change making an emulator build for Mimu Farms. For God's sake, let me know in the comments. Okay, so it's feedback time now, and this is for the loyal subscribers to the channel to help me improve things for the future. So what could I have done better in this video to make it more interesting? What information would you have preferred to have about any of the components that are on offer here? And have you got any ideas for future videos? I'm always out there looking for ideas, and I've got the resources to be able to put together PCs of most kinds, so please let me know. I actually want to ask a little favor of you now. I'm working in this office up here, and the walls are quite blank. There's not a whole lot going on visually, so if I just do a quick pan across the room, Could you give me some design tips on how to make this room much more aesthetic? Because I want the build videos during the winter to be inside, of course, because of the rain and the darkness and everything. I can't do that outside because of those reasons, which is what I prefer to do. So when I'm building inside, how can I make the space that you're seeing on screen now look more interesting? I was thinking about getting some of those corner RGB lamp things that sort of reflect slightly off the wall, but it might be nice to go for something a bit more sort of cozy and natural with some woods and things like that. And I'm not above changing this desktop here on this standing desk, that's fine. I quite like the IKEA Skogster top that I have for my table downstairs, and hopefully that would be supported on here. So let me know what you think would make a really nice setup. I mean, I prefer naturals and sort of clean stuff, but if you think some RGB lighting and a bit of glow might enhance things, then let me know. Okay, that's it, bye.